Hello guys, if you newly immigrated to the United States, either through the diversity visa program or any other way, this video is for you. First of all, welcome to the United States of America. For those of you who have just recently arrived in the US, you've been here maybe a week, a month, less than a year, you're still new, you're still trying to get yourself together, you're still trying to learn the systems, this video is for you. First of all, I am not an expert. I'm just going to share some things that you need to know as you settle down in the United States, as you make the US your home. Karibuni sana. For those of you who are from Kenya, welcome. I hope that your stay and your integration with the US system will be easy. I hope that you won't make mistakes that most people have made before because of ignorance, because we didn't have YouTube channels like this that will guide you on what to do when you get here. Okay, so you've arrived, you've received your paperwork, you're ready to work, you're ready to hustle, you're ready to take your kids to school, you're ready to go to school yourself. So what do you need to know? First of all, you need to know that America, you get what you give. What do I mean by that? The more you put in as far as work, the more you'll get paid. You get the equivalent of what you put in. It's not like back home, and I'm gonna give examples with Kenya because that's where I'm from, and I worked in Kenya for like 6 years. So when I try to compare, in Kenya we get paid every month, once a month. So mwisho wa mwezi, at the end of the month is when you get paid. Here, you can even get paid at the end of your shift, at the end of the day. You get paid per hour. So hourly pay, the more hours you work, the more money you get paid, all right? So you don't have to work a whole 30 days for you to get your money. The more overtime you make, the more money you'll make. And the flip side of that is the more money you make, the more you get taxed. So understand that you're going to get taxed. Don't be shocked when you work so many hours, especially the first, if you're in healthcare or you work shift work. Let me talk about healthcare because that's the field that I work in. Don't be shocked the first week when you get your money. In your head, you're calculating, I've worked 80 hours, I've worked 20 hours overtime, so I'm going to get all this money. You're going to get taxed. You're going to get a lot of deductions, especially if you had not worked in Kenya, so you don't understand the medical, all the deductions that come from your paycheck. When you first get your check, you're going to be shocked. You're going to be like, hey, watu wamenibia. These people have stolen my money. Where did my money go? It's because you're going to get federal taxes taken out. You're going to get state taxes taken out. There's something we call Medicare deductions. You're going to get that. Everybody gets deducted Social Security. So you're going to get that deducted from your check. So many other little deductions. If you signed up for medical, health coverage, vision, dental, you're going to get that deducted from your paycheck, okay? If you signed up for other benefits that maybe your job is offering, like the 401k, 401k is a retirement plan that is provided by your job. So depending on the job or depending on the company that you work for, they can match. So let's say, for example, you say 2% of your paycheck, every paycheck, you're going to be deducting to go into your retirement fund, the 401k. Okay, so your job might say, okay, we'll match up to 4%. So a lot of people take advantage of that and they do the max. They do 4% so that the job can match 4%. So at the end of the day, you are saving approximately 8%. So, and that is considered free money, but there's no free money anywhere. It's free money because the job is the one that is matching. It's one of the initiatives or incentives that jobs do have so that people can continue working for that particular company. All right, so what else is deducted? So anything else that some people say, okay, for federal taxes, I'm going to deduct a little bit more so that I don't owe so much later on and so that I can get what is called a tax refund. Tax refund is where you file your taxes at the end of the year. So that's another thing that you need to remember, that at the end of the year, you are required to file your taxes. What do I mean by that? All the money that has been deducted throughout the year, every 2 weeks, if you're getting paid every 2 weeks, let's just say every paycheck, you're deducted some money from your paycheck that goes into paying for federal taxes. So depending on how much was deducted at the end of the year, you have to file. You have to file your taxes. You can do it yourself if it's just a simple tax return 1040. If you're just doing that simple one, you can do it yourself. Or you can hire a tax preparer, an accountant to do it for you. You'll have to pay a little bit of money for that one. So at the end of the year, you file. So depending on how much was deducted, if the IRS, the Internal Revenue Services, if they decide that, okay, from how much you made and from how much you were deducted, you paid too much, you overpaid your taxes, then they will give you what is called a tax refund. You'll get some money back at the end of the year. If you did not pay enough, then you will owe taxes. We don't like to owe taxes. Nobody likes to owe taxes. So everybody looks forward to the year end so that you can either you don't owe anything or you're getting some money back. So know that you're going to have a lot of deductions from your paycheck, number one. And at the end of the year, you're going to need to file your taxes. Iyo sio tafadhali is not an option. You can go to jail for that, for not filing your taxes. First of all, not filing your taxes, and then second of all, not paying the taxes that you owe. And taxes that you owe are not forgivable. So even if you die and you leave some money behind, IRS will come for that money. I know that from experience because my husband passed away and he owed some taxes. And I thought because he's dead, they're not going to, oh, they came for their money. They sent me letters religiously. They were like, okay, he owes this much. You are the one responsible for this amount. So make sure you pay. So that's another thing that you have to be aware of. File your taxes. Make sure you file it on time. Individual taxes are due on the 15th of April. So this is almost towards the end of April. And I hope that for those of you who've been here more than a year, I hope that you have filed and submitted your taxes before the deadline. Because then if not, they start charging you fees and interest and all that if you owed something. All right. So paycheck, deductions, taxes. The other thing that you need to be aware of is that you need a bank account if you don't have one. You need a bank account so that you can do direct deposit for your paycheck instead of getting, most jobs nowadays, they do direct deposit. They don't do the paper checks anymore. All right. So make sure you have a bank account. If you're still new and you're having problems getting a bank account, most of these banks, they do open accounts without fees. Credit unions are pretty good with that. They can help you open an account without charging all these extra fees, maintenance fees for the account and stuff like that. All right, so the next thing that you need to know is that America thrives on credit. So what is credit? Credit is an extension of a loan. Is a report of how good you are with money. How do you behave with the money that you have? So how do you build your credit when you're still new, you might ask? There are many ways you can do that. The first thing that you need to do is to make sure that you're paying your bills on time. Paying your bills on time ensures that you are a reliable person. So when they pull your credit report at the whatever time, maybe you are asking for a credit card. Let's say you go to a store, one of the department stores like Macy's, for example, and you're like, okay, I want to build my credit, so I'm going to apply for a credit card. Okay, what do they look for? They look for your credit history. Since you're new, obviously, you don't have sometimes you don't have any credit history in the US. You may have had credit history back home, but when you get here, that doesn't matter. It's not considered. Okay, so how do you build credit? One of the easiest ways is to do a secured loan. So let's say you have an account with a credit union. So you borrow a little bit of money from that. It's called a secured loan. So what a secured loan is for example, you put $500 into the account and then you borrow that money. You're borrowing it and then you start using that money slowly by slowly. So if you spend $50 this month, from that 500, make sure you pay it back on time. But don't just let it sit there in the account. Make sure you're using it. There's something called credit usage. You have to keep using it. You can't just let the money sit there. Like I said, America thrives on credit. The better you are at managing your credit, the more credit you get. It's the craziest thing. I didn't know about that when I was in Kenya because we used to buy everything in cash. Hata sikuwa na nini. I don't even think I had a credit card. I didn't have a credit card. I only had, I think I used to have Standard Chartered Bank at that time. And I only had a debit card. I didn't have a credit card. So anyway, so you keep paying your bills on time, and then you can borrow a secured loan. So once you finish paying that, so maybe they give you 6 months to see how are you paying that money back. Okay, so once you show them that you're paying that on time, it's like you're trying to gain their trust. All right, you're trying to gain their trust. So you keep paying that, and then they can even extend $1,000 for you now next time. This time it might not be secured, or they can just say we'll give you 500, but this time it's not secured, it's unsecured. We'll just extend $500 to you, and then we'll see how you spend that and how you pay that back. So kidogo kidogo, slowly by slowly, they can extend that to 1,000, 1,500, but just keep paying on time. The other thing that you can do is to get a gas card, like from Wawa, one of these. If you're in Delaware, we have Wawa. I don't know if Wawa is everywhere, but we have ExxonMobil, we have Shell, we have all these gas stations. Valero is big here in Delaware. You just go and apply for a credit card there, a gas card. So you use that purely for gas. Make sure you pay it on time. Make sure your payments, you're paying on time and you're paying it in full. What do I mean by that? So most of these gas cards, they don't give you a lot of credit initially. They'll give you maybe like 200 or 300. So let's say you get $300 as a credit for that gas station. So you have to keep going to that gas station, right? So they extend $300 to you as credit. So as maybe every 2 weeks or every week, you're using $50 or $30, depending on your commute, how much gas you spend per 2 weeks or per whatever. Make sure that before the billing cycle, before the payment is due, that you're paying it fully. Don't wait for the payment to be due and then you forget, and then you start accruing interest, late charges, all that, and then they start reporting you to the credit bureaus. The credit bureaus are the credit police. They monitor your credit. They monitor your credit usage, your credit history, the length of credit history. All those factors combined make your credit history, your credit report. You want a good credit report. You want over 700 uko juu. I think it's between 300 and 850. That's the range. You want to be somewhere uko 700 towards 800 uko. You want your credit to be excellent, especially when you're new, because shit happens later down the road and your credit starts deteriorating. But if you start on a high note, you're not gonna drop too low, you know, unless you do like crazy stuff like bankruptcy, which really messes with your credit. All right, so we'll keep talking about things that you need to know, things that you need to be aware of. One of the biggest thing is to obey the law, because you don't want wahala with the police or the immigration. Like, stay in your lane, obey the laws of traffic, especially don't drink and drive, all these DUIs. You don't want that. You want your record to be clean. You want to start on a clean slate and continue growing. So welcome to the United States. I wish you a prosperous future, a prosperous stay. May all your dreams come true. Whatever you came here for, I hope and pray that you get it, receive it, and prosper and grow. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.